house right now, just really trying to like go over a couple topics that I think are important right now in the fitness industry. There are some things for sure that I think are worth knowing and kind of interpreting, I guess understanding. So let's just talk about one thing for sure. Let's talk about the rise of like the health architect, right? The evolution of the PT. So okay, look back in the day, I was a trainer, just a guy, had a stopwatch, whistle, clipboard, or whatever. And then you come in, do some push-ups, I yell, we toss some weights around, you go home. 2026, that's different. The game is leveled up, okay? You don't just need a trainer anymore, you need a health architect. And that's what I am, right? Think about like building a house in the city, right? You don't just throw bricks down and just hope it stands. You need a blueprint, you need a model, you need a way for yourself to know what it is that you're building. I'm checking your HRV, I'm checking your sleep data from last night, and I'm trying to see like what your stress levels are like. If you're redlining because work is crazy and you don't catch the 8 hours that you need all the time, how are we gonna really move forward? We're not hitting PRs on the back squat. We're not gonna be doing all this excessive throwing weights around. We're gonna do mobility, breath work. We're gonna build a body that lasts, not just one that looks good for the summer on 31st. You know what I'm saying? So I would like to say that we're training for the long haul. That's what you have to think about. This is where I think the industry has kind of caught its next wave. Don't get me wrong, people are still training hard. They're absolutely still training hard. Except now it's like you need to have structure. Training for the cost that training is, you got to be able to add more to the table. All right, so there's a lot of hybrid activity that's going on, right? Inflation's hitting everybody's pockets. How much is a training session now? $100 an hour for personal training on the low end. It has to be more to the table. Like more has to be brought to the table in order for training to be as valuable as it once was. If you see me in person for an hour, you should really be thinking about what am I gaining out of this? How is this carrying over into my next session? If we're trying to take every session and make that the thing that makes us fit, or the only time you see me is the only time that you work out, there might be an issue here. There might not be any real intrinsic motivation to be working out. And that's the reality. I know that AI is something that's really going to change the game. If you really sit down and think about it, AI is creating such a market where people are able to just go on ChatGPT, put in a prompt. Now, they might not have the best prompts, I'm not gonna lie, right? Most people who are prompting don't really know the principles of strength and conditioning, but they can get further than most people could have got 5 to 10 years ago. So that's something where we have to think about now. Okay, as a trainer, how do I increase my value to be able to really help this individual be better, one, still not get hurt because they're just following programs, but they're not really looking at the technique and the real true science of what program design is and what real exercise technique is about. I mean, we're democratizing health and wealth. You don't need a six-figure salary or an elite plan anymore, right? It can be way more affordable and it's way easier on the trainer. Now we got the social media trap. That's the real one, right? Because now we have like the rise of the influencer. The influencer is the one who looks good on camera. And I got no like beef with influencers, right? Like I've been the guy who's been over in the corner lifting my shirt up, looking at my abs, right? I've done that. However, that's not cutting it anymore. Also, I just don't think it's as valuable anymore. I mean, we got people dealing with real mental health issues. It's really things going on in the fitness industry that are causing people to reevaluate where the real value exists in this industry. It's a double-edged sword, to be honest. On one hand, it's beautiful. You can see the broader picture. You can see someone from across the world with new boxing drills, yoga flow, whatever they got going on, you have access to it in the palm of your hands. But it's a trap, right? We're comparing ourselves to someone else's year 10 and our day 1. Are we really gonna be able to compete with that? The photoshopping, the editing, the perfectly crafted photos and the matching Pilates outfits that are all there. I mean, that is where the industry is going, and I can't deny it, right? I don't think any of us can deny it. It is what the consumer wants. However, is that what the consumer needs? It's creating this comparison fatigue, right? People are burnt out, trying to look like a silhouette on the screen instead of feeling like a king in their own skin. That's why I'm seeing more people move to like digital campfires, private groups, smaller circles, real talk. They just don't want to like be a part of this fake facade anymore. So it's like protect your peace, protect your gains. That's the real thing here. What we should really think about is how the nervous system is playing a part in all this, right? The nervous system is really where we can kind of look to and see what's really going on. Because breath work is something that's trending, but has not really caught on full-fledged yet because it doesn't come with the whole intensity market that has always been with fitness. What else? You know, you got different types of breathing techniques that can help with the nervous system and help bring things down. There's a style of breathing called Nadi Shodhana. This is alternate nasal breathing, right? So you go, you do a couple rounds of that, that can really help down-regulate the nervous system. You know, bring some of this fight or flight down to a place where it's actually manageable. I mean, let's look at how expensive fitness is becoming to the place now where people are willing to do things like peptide therapy, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but there's a lot of unfounded information out there. There's a lot of things that aren't FDA approved, which, you know, take what you want from that. You know, it's really a situation where people are finding that they are reaching to extremes for this perception of acceptance. We want to be accepted really bad in this culture. And we're willing to do some pretty extreme things at times. You know, body contouring kind of opened the door, BBLs. Men get their own versions of things, you know. So I just think that we are at a place, at a pivotal place, where we could actually like no longer behave and act like this. However, it's the chase, it's the social media, right? When I mention social media, it's because it is such a drug. It's such a pull on your self-esteem that a lot of people just get addicted to the chase, and working out just becomes the next drug. And posting just becomes the next drug because it comes with all this social validation. On a side note, I want to talk about different human design types and how they might do with personal training. There is a certain type called a projector. That's me. I'm a projector. Not a lot of energy, actually. So high intensity, short workouts, great for me. You have people who are generators. You have people who are also manifesting generators or just manifestors or reflectors. They all have their own styles, and that's something I want to tap into on a later date to really address how those type of individuals, once you find out what you are, how your training can be more aligned and specified to exactly what it is you want to do.